Governor Kathy Hochul catching some heat, maybe some pun intended there, for using her gas stove while pushing a ban on using gas stoves. The Democrat backed a bill to remove gas stoves from new buildings by 2028 and stop gas hookups in about 2 years. Critics are calling out the governor for posting videos of gas equipment inside her own home because it tastes delicious when you cook on gas. Just ask her. The White House recently came out against a nationwide gas stove ban, by the way, but a new op-ed warns, quote, "Don't think gas stoves are safe from the man just because Team Biden is backing off." In New York and other cities across the nation, the fix is in, with worse to come. Jason Rantz, Seattle radio host in Focus. Why pick on how we're making our food? I'm yet to see the strong science for that.
Because it doesn't really exist. We've been doing this for how long? And all of a sudden we're getting the data that tells us that it's deeply dangerous. We know that it's not. And this isn't really a story with Governor Hochul. It's not really a story about hypocrisy, even though it very much is. But this is about the power play for the long game. This isn't about gas stoves in the long run. It's about gas-powered vehicles, which they want to ban. So they are effectively warming us all up, although not with gas-powered heat. But they are warming us up to this idea that they're going to start taking away small pieces of our lives, and then they'll make the big reveal, which is we're just banning gas-powered cars. That is their end goal.
Wow. That's the long game. Well, somebody should tell the First Lady because she likes to cook on gas, too. Now, the White House, again, came out with a statement. It's not endorsing this, but I don't see it fighting it. Where's Dr. Jill Biden? Oh, there she is. Because gas, when you cook on it, is delicious. I come back to you, Jason.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I don't think people are going to give in to this very easily. I think most people are starting to see that the end game is just to take more and more and more away from us. I think in the end, when there are climate issues that we have to contend with, be it emissions from gas stoves or anything else, is that we should be leaning into technological fixes to all of this. Let us address it that way rather than simply tell us we can no longer live our lives the way that we see fit. It is obscene at this point.
Why does everything have to be on fire like the gas on the stove? Why can't we talk about transition the way that you spell it out? Let's get technologically ready. Let's do the things that will make us innovators in energy. I mean, it's confounding to me. It's like half the country wants to lose.
Yeah, and I think what's sad here is that we could be encouraging companies to invest in technologies that could actually help the environment, but instead we're offering carbon taxes. And so all that does is put the burden more and more on us as a consumer. We're doing that here in Washington state, and our gas prices are going through the roof because we're not incentivizing the initial investments into the technology that's going to help everyone in the long term.
President Biden knocking down the defund the police movement as cities, large and small, are struggling with major crime.
When it comes to public safety, we know the answer is not to defund the police. Not to defund the police. It's to retrain some police. It's to make sure there's accountability. They need more funding and they need ancillary help as well.
Do the back away. We need a theme song there. Democrats have been doing the back away from the defund messaging in the past year after it proved to be unpopular with Americans and actually was killing some. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Democrats could have held the House in November if New York politicians focused more on crime. Here's a quote. "That is an issue that had to be dealt with early on, not 10 days before the election." This is Pelosi talking. "The governor didn't realize soon enough where the trouble was." Jason, it's not like she didn't know.
She clearly knew, and so did Nancy Pelosi, but she wasn't saying anything at the time because they had hoped that this wouldn't be a reality. The truth of the matter is, I would love to know who was clapping in that speech. Was it the same people who previously told us that we needed to defund the police? Was it the people who actually defunded the police? Look, I'm not mad that the president is suddenly changing his tune. We know why he's doing it, but I'll take it anyway. But it's one thing to make these statements. There's another thing to actually back it up with action. But then when you go into some of his other statements, he talks about retraining. So this is someone who says instead of teaching cops to shoot to kill, shoot to injure. Yeah, in a moment of life or death, death, we're going to have officers be sharpshooters and shoot someone in the leg. That's not how it works.
I want to get to this. Critics are going after Alec Baldwin's wife, Hilaria, for still using that fake Spanish accent. Paparazzi with this video of her defending her husband's recent involuntary manslaughter charges.
Want you guys to realize that we have 7 kids. And you being here to escort them to school and to be there when they come home is not good. So on a human level, you guys know I'm not going to say anything to you. You know that. So please, leave my family in peace.
Social media blew up. One user called her pathological. Another joked it will never stop being funny that a white girl from Boston pretends that she is Spanish. Another with calling it beyond offensive. And that's the part where people were just a year ago. So, Jason, apparently she doesn't really care what people think that she uses that fake accent.
She's committed. We can say that about her. I think at the end of the day, here's the problem that folks on the left are going to have. And it's mostly folks on the left that I've actually seen call this offensive. It's if you can present as a different gender, why would then this be any different?
Ooh.
Why can you not then adopt this? It is an argument that I think is a reasonable and valid one. And for the folks on the left who would call this cultural appropriation, yeah, totally agree with you. So then what do you call it when we're lying about gender?
Wow. I was at a doctor's office recently with my biracial children filling out a form, and it said, "Do you identify black?" And my girls looked at me and they said, "We identify as Americans." And I'm like, oh boy, look what I've done. Jason, good to see you.
Good parenting right there. Good to see you.
I'm trying. Thank you.